Morning, Janice.
Good morning, Anthony.
I think our last Happy New Year type episode, we're going to go over the annual professional executor checklist. So when you name me as your executor or trustee, as your professional executor or trustee, our protocol is we have an annual check-in call or email, some kind of contact, to make sure that I'm up to date on your plans and wishes. And we're going to go over what I chat about or what we're going to chat about during those annual check-ins. But why do we do? Some people ask, why do you do this every year? So, as your executor, as your professional executor, and also I'm also a potential witness in any will contest. Right? My testimony might be quite valuable in some sense. So it's really useful for me to be familiar not only with a snapshot of your wishes upon the day that you drafted your will, but a trajectory of your wishes, like the slow changes year over year over year, where that niece was every year falling out of favor a little bit more, a little bit more, or gaining favor. Let's be positive, right?
Positive, right. Every year she talked a little more about the niece.
Exactly.
It got better, right?
And every year, like one time they were just doing phone calls, then Christmas cards, then she came over Thanksgiving. Like those things that I can testify to over the years. Will really solidify the niece's share in this weird example in case of the will contest. Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, if every year it's the exact same thing and then it's contested by the niece, you could say, well, for 5-6 years, she said the same thing and has not heard from you.
Exactly. Consistency.
Yes.
Consistency really helps in that type of situation.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first thing we check in on our annual professional executor checklist is, are you alive? And actually, I mean, it's a joke, but a lot of people wonder, like, how are you going to know that I'm still alive? Because I'm going to call you every year to make sure you're still alive. Right. I mean, there's other things we're going to do. I'm going to be your notifying case of emergency type person, but this is another way. At the very worst, every year I'll be checking in, right?
Right.
And it's not just whether or not you're dead or alive. It's not so zero sum. It's like, how's your health?
Yeah.
Are there any signs of capacity issues? Are you getting a little bit more frail and things that we need to look out for? Maybe we need to start thinking about a trust or things like that. And again, it's not a snapshot. I will have been chatting with you a little bit every year, so we will have this trajectory to look at. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Next.
Does your plan still reflect your wishes? I mean, this is kind of what the whole will or trust or estate plan's about. Does it still reflect who you want to get what or how much? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And with that,
what you thought 5 years ago, what you thought could be what you wanted, maybe could be evolving into something different.
Absolutely. And not everybody might be around. Is anyone dead? Is anyone not incapacitated, as we talked about?
Yep.
Is there anyone you want to cut out, as Janice just mentioned? Mm-hmm. Or is anyone now not worthy, we talked about that before, of an outright inheritance? Meaning, Johnny is a crack addict now. Maybe we shouldn't give him his money directly.
Right. Just claimed bankruptcy, gambling debt.
Jenny, gambling debt or incapacity. Like, Jenny's now in a nursing home where we don't want Medicaid necessarily coming after it. There's things that need to be thought about for it.
Right.
That's not a good example, but just
no.
That's a very complicated.
You have to think about everything. Right.
Okay. So next, you need to ask. We need to check in on whether or not your assets have changed. Have you bought or sold anything made? And the reason I need to know this as your professional executor is because I'm the one who's going to have to collect and redistribute everything upon your passing. So if I don't know about something, or if something that I thought was there, like your summer home in the Poconos is now gone, kind of need to know that, or I should.
Right. Or the flip side, you just bought a big piece of property in Montana.
Yep.
If you don't know,
how
will you? Yeah.
So have you bought or anything or sold anything major? Please let me know. And are you significantly richer or poorer? Did your Bitcoin pop, or did your crypto crash? I mean, it's the same side of this, both sides of the same coin. Let me know. It just gives me a sense of, how hard I need to fight, or how much, there's a cost benefit analysis to everything, and the size of your estate is part of that, right?
Right.
All right. Next, your annual professional executor check-in. We'll talk about Do your assets still have correct titles and beneficiaries? What does that mean?
Very big.
Yeah. So if you have a trust, you probably want a good number of your assets owned no longer by you personally, no longer by John Smith, but rather you want that account owned by the John Smith Revocable Trust. And that has to be done through paperwork with the bank or brokerage account. Is that paperwork in place? Has the bank acknowledged it? We need to run through our checks on these. Yeah. Even if it's not a trust, do you have beneficiaries on your accounts? We've talked about this many times. I'm sure we have links to other episodes.
Yeah.
That's where you name somebody who automatically gets your 401k, life insurance, IRA, or any bank or brokerage account upon your passing. Have you done that with your institution? And if so, is it the correct person?
Right. We laugh about this.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but it kind of is. Is your girlfriend on there from 10 years ago and you are remarried or have another girlfriend, or you got to check. And
just quick caveat, we generally don't recommend, structuring your estate plan with beneficiary designations. There's so many problems with that.
Yeah.
Link to the episode below.
Yes.
But, we won't get into that here, but if you do have beneficiary designations, during our annual check-in, we'll make sure they're at least reasonably accurate. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And reflect your wishes. That's really the key here, is that what you have is what you want to happen. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the whole goal here. And then lastly, the last thing we really kind of go over during our annual professional executor check-in is, are you and I still a good match? And what does that mean? Do we still like each other? I mean, that's kind of important. Do you still trust me?
Right.
Personality, that relates both to personality. Do you think I'm still young and fresh and up to date enough? Or, if this is, many, many years from now, have I lost a step and you maybe want a younger professional executor?
Exactly.
I mean, you got to have an executor who's going to survive you, right? So,
yes. Yep.
Have I started skydiving recently? that kind of stuff.
I don't know if I could see that one, but yeah. No.
And then, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that works both ways. Are you still a good match? Do you feel comfortable? Do they feel comfortable? It has to work for both sides. That trust and
100%.
Yep.
And also, it's not just personal; it's also style. I have my way of doing things, and I'm sure you have the way you want things done. Are we still a good match, or has anything changed since we first got together and you first nominated me? No. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just, are we a good match?
Exactly. Yep. And I think that's a great importance. I think, because you are going to be making sure their wishes are followed. So the person who is putting their trust in you wants to make sure. Yeah.
And that's it. It's a really quick, usually 15 or 20-minute phone call, or maybe a couple of emails back and forth. I'm just checking in, making sure everything's good, and making sure generally that what we have set up reflects your wishes. And that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like the check-ins too. You see how everyone's doing, and you just, like you said, you kind of say hi, and you become friends over the years, friendlier.
Sure.
So if you want to learn more about this professional executorship, Anthony's book, How to Hire an Executor, available on Amazon. It'll tell you a little more and dig into this. And we'll definitely put some links in there, like you were saying, beneficiaries and
perfect
such. So,
all right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Janice, as always. And, this is a good link for all of our professional executor clients. So, or anyone who's thinking about us and what it's like once you sort of get connected with us, and what it'll be like on a year-to-year basis. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.